Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. I have 6 wines from Beiras in front of me. Where's Beiras? Well, I don't know how you are on Portuguese geography. If you're not great, well, I'll let you off because not many people are. But Lisbon comes about half... Portugal's almost like a thin rectangular strip. Lisbon comes about halfway down, and then about the top half, about maybe a quarter of the way down from the top, there's the Douro River, where you get all the port along, and then there's a bit below it, and that's where we are here with Beiras. The 2 main wine regions that people have heard of there are Dão and Bairrada. Just so happens that when I say Beiras Reds, I've got 5 from Dão, or Dão, as some people call it, and 1 that just says Beiras, even though I think it's probably from Bairrada. Main grapes here, well, the one that's labelled Beiras is, well, we'll come on to that later, but for the others, there's 3 grapes that feature here: Touriga Nacional, Alfrochero and Tinta Roriz. Tinta Roriz is the same as Spain's Tempranillo. Take it over to the border, over the border into Portugal, and well, I suppose thinking of it back in Spain, there's quite a difference between the wines of Rioja and the wines of Toro, both of which are well. Toro is, I think, 100% Tempranillo, and Rioja, you can use other grapes, but most of the wines will be predominantly Tempranillo, but difference in styles. Maybe take it over when you get it over into Portugal. It's on the sturdier side, and sturdy but fragrant. If you have to do a comparison with maybe a grape in France, golly, what would you have it as? Maybe, oh, I don't know. No, Syrah, maybe Syrah with a bit of Grenache fleshiness and herb. I don't know. Touriga Nacional is, for me, is like the head boy. It's the one that is very correct, and it does everything well. If you had a French comparison, Cabernet Sauvignon, I always think of it as being the same mould, but Cabernet Sauvignon with maybe a little bit of Petit Verdot, sternness and fragrance. And as with those 2, I always think better blended than 100%. Be interesting, because there's one wine here that is 100% Touriga Nacional. The other one is Alfrochero, which is always a bit player. There are not many wines at 100% Alfrochero. If there is a French comparison, maybe the Teaneck grape that you get in Madeira, but without maybe the sternness that you get there. Let's just set in. First one, Ribeiro Santo. I think I've got 6 different... No, I haven't got 6 different vintages. I've got a span of 6 vintages from 2009 to 2004, but not quite 6 vintages. Anyway, 2009, Ribeiro Santo. So this is Dão. Well, this smells young, juicy, fresh, plummy. There's a savoury, almost a plummy tomato character as well, and it feels that there's a bit of backbone. There's certainly freshness. I mean, the wines here don't lack freshness. They have power and acidity, which is a really nice combination. Go a bit further north into the Douro, and you get different styles. It's a completely different climate. But here, you almost feel the sea influence. There's a briny freshness sometimes. Don't get the briny character here. Go further south, and you miss the acidity. You get the power, but not the acidity. But here, it feels like it's going to be a lovely, rounded, rich, balanced style. Yeah, I like that for its. It's not too big. I'm not sure with the price level here, but what's good about it is it's certainly full of flavour. But when you think the flavour is just going to get that little bit too big and rich and rounded, there's this acidity comes through. There's the savoury element, and there's that little bit of tannin too. It feels like a wine that is going to go on for quite a bit, and yeah, just keep going and keep going. Not sure whether it's not at its peak now. I mean, certainly there's nothing there that makes me think it needs the extra time, but it feels like a wine that if you like something a little bit more mellow, certainly 4 or 5 years, life's still ahead of it. Hey, let's try the Portugal's biggest producer. I've got a couple of wines from Sograp, and both under the Calabriga label. They do Calabriga in, I think they've got Calabriga wines from Dão. I think they've got Bairrada, so I think they've got Alentejo, in the Tejo. I'm not sure what they've got, but anyway, this is their. It's not. I'm not sure whether. I don't think it's single vineyards. I think they've got a separate range for that, but certainly upper tier in terms of ambition. So there's a regular and a reserva. So this is a year older, and two things I noticed. There's I get this brown sugar, a mellow spice maturity. It doesn't feel like it's going to be quite as fresh and vibrant as the first one, but it feels like there's going to be a bit more gluggability. I don't know. It smells good. The first one smelled like it was work in progress and maybe needed an extra year. This one smells like it's pretty good now. And when you taste it, this peppery intensity kicks in. There's the spice, and it's that white pepper rather than black pepper, and then this plummy core. In terms of drinkability, there is this core of tannin as well. So whereas I thought the first one needed time, I got a feeling that this one would actually benefit from another year or so. But at the moment, there's this steamy, stemmy, dark fruit, plumminess, pepper. And but both of these, it's this nice mixture of rich, ripe fruit, but with freshness too. Neither of them feels like it's going to. They're going to go over the top into caricature, and I like this. Now, wine number 3, a year older, 2007. This is Quinta de Falorca's Teaneck. Teaneck stands for Touriga Nacional. So, whereas the other 4 Dao wines are blends, this one's 100% Touriga Nacional. And it smells quite different from the previous 2. It's weird. It still smells like it's got freshness. So we're going 2009, 2008, 2007. But there's this peppery, again, I'll use that word steamy. What do I mean by that? It feels like, I don't know whether they've used grape stalks in here, but there's something that is adding extra spicy intensity, and it smells like it's poised. It smells like it's got lots and lots of power. But life beyond fruit, life beyond the winemaking. There's it feels like a vibrant, lively, heady wine. It smells really good. Now for me, I mean, I use the comparison of Cabernet Sauvignon with Petit Verdot, and both of those grapes I always think of as being better for being in partnership with something else. And I've got a feeling, the same feeling about Touriga Nacional. But that wine like this, when you taste it, it's got the power, the intensity, the fragrance, and maybe I do love the flavours here. If anything, I would like something. Well, in French terms, I'd like a dollop of, not Merlot, but a dollop of something like Grenache in there to just to round it out and soften it. Maybe the grape that you'd used here is Castellao, or also known as Periquita. But as it is, it does have a really nice. Juicy, the spicy, peppery, honest earthiness, and I do like it. Hey, let's see whether I like the next one, which is back to Sograp, and it's there. So this is the Reserva version of the 2008. That's 3 years older. Not sure about this. I stick my nose in here, and there's this minty medicinal character, which has my Brettanomyces alarm bells ringing, and it feels like it's a more concentrated, rich wine, alcohol-wise. The regular is 13.5%. This is 14.5%. So I'm not sure whether something has gone wrong here. In the cellar, it certainly smells like a more concentrated wine, but there's this flawed character I'm not sure about. Same when I come to taste it. For me, Brettanomyces, what it does is it dries out a wine. So I'm left with something here where it feels like the fruit is shriveled. You're getting those, instead of fresh blackcurrants, you're getting that dried blackcurrant skin character. Damson skin's the same. So I actually prefer the regular to the Reserva with the Calabrigas. I do find that quite a lot with wineries around the world. Southern France does it the same. I find a lot of Spain does it the same. South America in particular, I mean, a regular Cabernet Sauvignon from a Chilean winery is often far more user-friendly and gluggable than their, what I call the Cuvée Cajones. Same with Argentine Malbec. Let's see how we get on with the sole example of Barga. Yes, Barga is a grape. The main grape of Bairrada, or at least it used to be the main grape of Bairrada. This wine comes from someone called Filippo Pato, and Filippo's dad, Luis Pato, he used to be known as the king of Bairrada, and now he doesn't label his wines Bairrada because they changed the laws a few years ago, about 6-7 years ago, which allowed you to use other grapes in the Bairrada appellation. So, which he didn't agree with, so he now labels his wine Beiras. Filippa, his daughter, makes wines in both Dão and Bairrada, and I think has been traditionally, as traditional as you can be for someone who's been going for about 7 or 8 years, has been labelling her wines Beiras, but I gather that recently she's now doing Dão and Bairrada. But this is her 2005 Local Calcario, Beiras, but made from Barga. And fascinating contrast between the Calabriga is 2005. This is 2005. The Calabriga Dao smells. It smells like there's these chemical elements there which really don't sit nicely together. Here you're left with a juicy, rich, harmonious. It smells really attractive. It's lost its youthful freshness. It's 6 years old now, but it's been replaced by this mellow, slightly leathery, slightly meaty maturity, but still, can you have mature freshness? What I mean by that is it doesn't feel like it's gone into raisins, it doesn't feel like it's over old, it doesn't feel like anything's oxidizing. It feels just like gently, confidently maturing, getting older. Maybe there's a few lines around its eyes, but it's still attractive. There's a slight raisiny character there. There's a mature, plummy fruit character, but everything there is just in beautiful harmony. It's not a wine I want to keep for very much longer, but it just as it is at the moment, it's really beautiful, yes, fresh maturity. I'll use that term again. It really does stand up well. It's nice. It's fresh. It's bouncy. What time are we? We're coming up for midday now, but I'm going to keep the cork in there, and I'm not sure what we're on for evening meal, but that looks pretty smart for tonight. It's just delicious. And comparisons with other regions, well, it's got what I call that brown sugar edge, and I think of that brown sugar maturity coming through in places where there's freshness but warmth. So maybe there are parts of the Douro that would provide that. Maybe there are some riper, richer Pomerols that end up like that. Maybe some bits of the Rhone, but not many. And maybe also an Italian character, and maybe some Chiantis end up like that. Chiantis rather than Brunellos. It's not quite as in your face as Brunello. But it's tasty wine. Final one, Quinta da Falorca. It says Lagar on there, so presume that means they've trodden it by foot. Reserva 2004. So oldest wine. Best wine? Let's have a see. Interesting contrast between this. Well, I'm sure I've said interesting contrast with the Calabrigas, but also interesting contrast between these two Falorcas. This one is the younger, fruitier one. This one is more on the Rioja Gran Reserva style. There's some people would object to that slightly musty is the wrong word, but slightly old-fashioned woody character that's coming through here. Do I? Well, I mean, I think that there is a fruit behind to support it, but I think, to be honest, you get into personal preference. At the moment, I think I'm veering towards the Teaneck rather than the Reserva, but let's taste it and find out. Yeah, I just think they've overdone that wood aging that little bit too much. The fruit was nice. It has been slightly dried out, slightly mustified, a new word, and woodified, another new word. And the flavour I'm left with is on that slightly sappy green style. I like the more vibrant edge of the Teaneck. What I would like them to do would be to use these grapes to do a wine that's more in this style, because I think that the complexity that the extra the Alfachera and the Tinta Roriz give here would actually benefit the Teaneck, but. I still prefer the Teaneck, but the Local's my favourite. But then Filippo is probably more attractive than the winemaker here. But even though I've not met him, stroke her, but I'll shut up and I'll go. See you soon.